Hi my friend, how you doing today? Today is a weird sort of heads up to a podcast that I recorded, must have been 6 months ago, maybe 9 months ago. And it was about some loneliness that at that particular time, it was very personal to me, and I recorded the episode. And you can tell by the recording that I've improved since then, certainly the quality. But the thing was, I wasn't really brave enough to put it out there. And so I've decided now to do that. But a little while ago, I just recorded like a future heads up to it. But I didn't think that gave it the truth that it deserves. So I wanted to tell you that it's something that, I wasn't brave enough to put up, but now I am, because I want to share with you, because I think that's what this podcast is all about. It's about sharing with honesty, and my two top values of everything is trust and honesty. So I'm trusting you, but I'm also trusting myself, and to be completely honest with you. Now, there's not a great dip into what I was going through at that particular time, but it was, and that's why I didn't really want to go through it, but maybe I should have done. I can remember when I did my little book. I did a little book about when I was how I got out of my darkest time, and I wrote it as if I was a therapist to my best friend. And I wrote this book, and I plotted what had happened to me, but as if I was a therapist to my best friend. And I can remember at the time I had a client who was an author, quite a respected author, and I said, would you mind just having a little look at this book for me? Just a little bit of critique. And she came back to me and she said, it's so bloody obvious, Paul, that it's you. It's not your best friend. You're talking about yourself. And if you really want to share a message, then don't hide behind the bullshit. Well, she didn't say bullshit, but that's what she meant. Don't bullshit people. Go and be honest. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you like it, you like it. But be honest, Paul, and tell people, show people who you really are. And that seemed to resonate with me just before I was about to upload this revised episode. And then I thought to myself, well, I've got a couple of hours before I need to do it. I'm going to see a client in a minute, but then after that I can upload it then. So I think it was right and proper that I give you a little better heads up. And it means that when we start to talk about loneliness and things like that, we can be clear where it's all coming from. Where's the intention, the honest and truthful intention, and where we're heading for. And hopefully you receive it that way. And if you'd then share back with me in that way, that would be awesome. Because that's, I think, the essence of this integrated field of learning. Because although I say, you put it out there, you've still got it, and you've shared it with somebody else, but they've got it and you've got it and things like that. But I think also, I was reading or listening the other day about this integrated field of learning is also by connection. We are connected in this field, and somehow you're going to get the things that I'm doing. You'll certainly get more than just what's communicated verbally, orally. So take it for what it is, and we'll carry on doing the rest of the episodes, and we're going to delve into loneliness, because it is a thing that I believe is going to start to come to the fore a little bit more because of this weird and wonderful mad world we're in. Anyway, I hope I haven't taken too much of your time. It's a bloody long introduction, isn't it? Anyway, do enjoy the heads up to the heads up, and then what would be quite a short episode. Okay, see you shortly. Here's your heads up to this tiny little FMQ, the 5-minute quickie. It's really another heads up to longer podcasts, all about loneliness, and how I want to share with you my loneliness and an experiment, an adventure that we can join in together. Okay? Do enjoy. If you're new to this, as usual, well, if you're new to this, it's not as usual, have a little listen to the intro, because I'll explain all about the 5-minute quickie and the longer podcasts and this wonderful little niche we're creating, this little community, as it were, of unplugged personal development. And if you're not new to this, now that, as usual, you can skedaddle about a minute and a half, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay then. This is a FMQ, the 5-minute quickie podcast from me, Paul Clough, from this niche of one, hopefully a niche of one, of unplugged personal development. It's to get you thinking, to give you information, to give you some real good snippets of processes that you can use right now in this genre of personal development, breaking things down into simple how-tos that get results. Minimum amount of effort to get the maximum amount of return and make life brilliantly good. Because in this world of personal development, self-improvement, I believe things have been made far too complicated. Or people are talking about things that they just do and they don't explain how they did them. And I'm creating processes to enable you to get those type of results easily and effortlessly. And more importantly, simply. Because as Einstein once said, in simplicity there's genius, so therefore we're going to create things simple. Simples. I want you to encourage you to have your dreams, to notice that sometimes when you haven't got them, it wasn't your fault. Yes, we have to take responsibility for the decisions we made, but we made those decisions with the information, the wisdom we had right then. And now you've got a chance to really create the world you want to live in and create the you want to be fully integrated, being authentic, singing from the right voice, not the right voice, your voice, and become part of this unplugged personal development team, this family, this thing that we're creating, and sharing everything we do with everybody. So please enjoy, have more fun than you can stand, and please just listen and enjoy.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Loneliness. Apparently, I heard it is now becoming one of the biggest epidemics in making people feel bad. If you call it mental health or whatever issues. But I really try to get my head around this, because how do you know? Because lonely people tend to be out of sight, don't they? Tend to be a little bit more introvert, I'm going to guess. Well, maybe not. Maybe that's just my stuff, putting it out there. You could be an extrovert, but lonely inside, I guess. Who knows? But that's what I'd like to dive into in some bigger podcasts. But so this is a little bit like a heads up, because I'm going to guess, as a big generalization, we've all experienced loneliness in our life at some time or other. And the problem is, I can see, is once it starts, it could quite easily lead to more negative emotions, then get into things like agoraphobia, maybe depression, and really closing down. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. And so I want to do an experiment, and I want to work with you, if you dare. There's a big dare for you to actually explore our own loneliness. So if you've been lonely, or you're experiencing loneliness now, I'd love to understand your experiences so we can work through them together. Obviously, It'll be totally anonymous. So I'll get your feedback or your experiences, and then I'll look to find processes or ways that we can develop to let it go. You see, I know I used to be, sort of really outgoing. And certainly in the business world, I had massive goals for myself, that was, and I seemed to exceed them. And to exceed them, I had to be out there. I had to be not necessarily an extrovert, but certainly very determined. I was out for, because it meant working with people. I had to be, working with people, so I couldn't be in my own head all the time. But I've noticed of late that maybe it's just a change of life or lifestyle, and circumstances, I guess, that I've started to become a little bit more introvert, certainly a lot more in my own head. Tend to spend a lot more time by myself. And I wonder sometimes when I write in my journal, one of the things that comes up is loneliness, being alone. And sometimes that's different, you see. Being alone and loneliness are two different things, I think. Because sometimes I love being alone. I love being alone with my thoughts, to do things like this, to speak to you. Because it feels so good. And in some ways, this is one of the most extrovert things I think you can do, to speak to so many people. Put yourself out there, to be judged. But yeah, I love doing it. But I'm doing it by myself. It's not one of those interview things where you can, get the other person to speak. This is just me sharing my thoughts, my feelings, and some of the processes and the hypnosis of it that I can create for you. So I want to explore with you, my little personal adventure into loneliness, my loneliness, and to experiment with different ways of changing it. So I feel different, so I can choose to be on my own, or choose to not be on my own, to be with other people or do other things. And this is why I say I'd like you, if you dare, and I really hope you do dare, to share your experiences. Especially if you used to be lonely and now you're not. What did you do to change? Because it's the people who change can help us so much. I mean, that's how NLP, and I'm guessing a lot of hypnosis, but certainly NLP was the study of excellence. People not just doing excellent things, but who changed. I mean, the fast phobia cure, as it's called, was created by understanding people who used to have a fear and a phobia, and they got over it themselves. How did they do it? What did they do with the pictures in their mind? What did they do with the words? How did it all change? And from there, a process was created. Because, and just to let you know, it was seen that people who got over their phobias began to disassociate from the problem. And once they could dissociate, i.e. go into another position, normally a meta position, they found that the emotions would disappear. So there you go. But that's NLP. So what I'm thinking of is, let's explore together with your experiences, or your experiences of changing, or your experiences of not changing. So please let me know via, probably email is best, because then it's kept completely anonymous and everything is sound and safe, at paul@paulclough.co.uk. You see, I can remember a long time ago when, as I said, I used to be in different places and some very dark, but as I was coming out of it, out of the dark space, I remember sitting down with my journal, because I've been journaling for years, and all of a sudden, I had like an aha moment of a sort, just writing in the journal, because I wasn't feeling, I was certainly feeling lonely at the time. And it was as if my unconscious mind said to me, hang on a minute, Paul, write this down. You're never alone. You're never by yourself. you're always with yourself. And when you're with yourself, you can't be alone. Well, you can. Because when you're with yourself, you can choose to do what you want. It's that feeling of being alone or being by yourself seems to constrict yourself, put yourself in a box. But when you're with yourself, then, hey, you can do anything. And that was a thing that I began to write in the front of every journal. The very first thing. Because it reminded me, yeah, I'm with myself writing this journal. I don't need anybody else. But then I can choose to be with other people and have great times. But as I said, of late I've noticed I've become a little bit more introvert, and I want to explore that and share with you my experiences. And I'd like you to come along too, in that sharing way that we'll both learn of new things. And as we both learn and we put it into this wonderful integrated field of learning, then others will learn. Who knows? A new process might be born. A new way of being at one with the world and being at one with others. And more importantly, I guess, being one with ourselves. That's an interesting thing to think about, isn't it? So, that's it. I'm going to start working on this like a little mini project. Because it's going to be useful for me, but I really hope it's going to be useful for you. So let me know your thoughts, please. You know where? paul@paulclough.co.uk. I'll look forward to reading them, and let's see what we can create. A little bit of a somber one, I guess, today, but that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to change the world, change ourselves and evolve. And as I say, as we evolve, everything around us, our environment, the people in it will evolve too. And that's going to be a magical thing. Because that's what it is. It's not magic. It's magical. That's what I believe anyway. Okay then. I'm going to go off and find something to do with myself and maybe with other people too. Let's go and experiment. Speak to you real soon. Oh, have a little listen to the outro because there's one or two things I love to share with you too. And I'd love you to share as well. Okay. Let's get together soon. Hey, thanks for listening. And just before you go on to do whatever you're going to do now, I'd just like to ask just a couple of things really. One is, obviously I've talked about sharing, and if you could share this podcast to a few people, pay it forward, that would be absolutely awesome. But also if you go to places like iTunes, subscribe, because subscriptions mean that we go into the charts. It means we spread our word to other people. And also a review would be absolutely even more awesome. And also know that obviously hypnosis tracks, they're all at paulcloughonline.com/podcast. They're all there for you. They're all downloadable. So you can put them on any device you like. You can keep them forever with my compliments. And you can make up some wonderful things for yourself. Add processes together and have a great time. And also, if you'd also have a look round at paulcloughonline.com, it's the only thing other than my pocket that supports this show. We don't have advertisers. We don't do interviews and things like that trying to get around. So if you'd have a look on there, there's a couple of good, I believe, are really good courses. There's Supreme Inner Confidence, something to allow you to be who you really are. Be authentic. Know that you've got inner strength. You've got all the competence and confidence that you ever want. And there's also Free Your Life from Anxiety. That has 5 days. The first 5 days are absolutely free. You get an email every day with new things to do. And at the end of those 5 days, you may even have let go of that anxiety. That's my aim. And if not, you move on to the next part of the program. They're all there. There's a couple of other paid hypnosis tracks where we've done a series of processes for you, such as creating that inner mind palace and things like that, or real deep relaxation. But anyway, please have a look. It would be great if you did. Love some feedback. You can always contact me through my website, Paul Clough Online. No, it's not. It's paulclough.co.uk. And you can contact me through that web page. And you can also contact me on email, paul@paulclough.co.uk. Love your feedback. Love your questions. Love you. Okay. Have more fun than you can stand.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.